Hey guys, Joe here, and here I'm to talk to you about the top 5 most disappointing buffs in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS. Now, all these characters, in my opinion, felt like they really did need a buff, and they finally did get one, but of course those buffs really weren't what we wanted, and I'm just going to be going over all these in the video, of course. To start off, I'm going to pick Robin. Now, for the longest time, Robin has been a quite strong fighter, but really missed out in the grab department. It was too slow, too weak, and had no combos, or at least a very small amount. Then one day, Sakurai blessed us with a patch that we thought would fix at least 2 of those problems. The patch made it seem like Robin could go from down throw into aerials and maybe even to side B at some points, and this was really cool, but quickly we came to understand that it wasn't really quite as good as we thought. Most of the moves would never hit, and the enemy could easily DI out of almost every single combo, or make a lot of the combos more like strings. It was a big letdown for the fighter, and I've been hoping that Sakurai will revisit this someday, and maybe even get it to where I think he was going in the first place. The next buff that disappointed me quite a bit was the buff to Lucina's jab. Now, I do have to say I said Lucina on purpose and not Marth. The thing about her jab is that it heavily supports Marth's tipper, but Lucina doesn't have a tipper. It sends the opponent right where a tipper will hit, but with Lucina this is much less useful. Also, the jab is quite unreliable with her and doesn't always connect to a smash, especially on Lucina, so this can become an even worse problem for her. I feel like this jab really wasn't made for her at all and was kind of just added because it was added to Marth, so it feels like a bit of a problem and a bit of a letdown. I really wish that they just had this buff for Marth, but for Lucina they made so that the jab could combo into an up air or an up smash or an up tilt or something like that. It's definitely a fine buff with Marth, but it really doesn't fit Lucina in my opinion. Now, for Greninja, I would say that he actually did get a decent amount of pretty strong buffs. All of his smashes got an increase at some point, his water shuriken has a little bit less startup, and his side B got a tiny bit more knockback. The problem is that these buffs really don't make up at all for what Greninja lost in the early patches. They don't give him any tricks, any combos, or really any much at all. They're just kind of pity buffs for Greninja players, and this really kind of disappoints me. Greninja is a very cool and different fighter, so I hope that maybe one day he'll get something to repair his lost strength, but for now what we have gained is not really what the players want. Now we're off to the 2 that you probably guessed, the 2 that I feel like need a bit more power to oomph them up, but really have been let down so far by what they got. The first one is Samus. Now Samus is a fighter that has so much potential if only she got a few exact correct buffs, but sadly we have only gotten a few that are really big letdowns. She got a barely better up smash, her up B was heightened a tiny bit, and she got a fair with a little bit less lag and a small increase in damage, and of course an air that got a pretty big rework, but still isn't really what she needs. To me, she needs more ways to combo into charge shot, or maybe less lag on her down B and missiles in order to use them a lot more effectively. They take way too long to use right now, and a small buff to those could go a long way in competitive play. Finally, I'm here at Zelda. Now this sweet Mistress was one I considered to be my main for actually a while in the 3DS days, but after a few disappointing buffs, I kinda let her go and went on my way to other fighters. Now she's gotten consistent buffs, I can give her that, but for the most part, they really don't do anything meaningful or fulfill a purposeful meaning in her kit. The only real good buff that she's actually gotten is a buff to her up tilt, which lets her combo off of it for a little bit of percent at early percent, but other than that, she's kind of been screwed over. Over time, she's gained a small amount of knockback to her smashes, and her side slash down B were slightly buffed, but those buffs really don't make those moves a lot more usable. Really, she hasn't gotten way too much better even after being buffed for the majority of the patches, so this is why I'm hugely let down with her buffs. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. This was just talking about some of the buffs that I really felt like should have been a little bit better. And I hope that these characters do get better buffs or buffs that kind of fix them a bit more in the future. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and tell me your own opinion on this. And also check the link in the description below to see how you can upload your best moments as Cloud in order to be part of a future video.